What's up? It's your boy Dills and Thrills. It's a little loud right now. I don't know if you can hear me. Well, we got the Cherokee running. We got it! And now we're doing a few small things to it. This Jeep had a sunroof, which I believe was like a factory, like a dealership option or something like that. Factory approved dealership option. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but regardless, the sunroof on here. And one of the previous owners must have noticed a leak, so they went over it with a ton of caulking. I mean, it was really nasty. And it still leaked. You know, you had all the poop, none of the functionality. All the mess.
No benefits.
Whatever. And it looked like someone maybe sprayed, like, I'm assuming Flex Seal over top of it. So, you know, fun stuff. But we're gonna try to go ahead and get this a little bit more functional. I ended up peeling all that off around the side, and then there's these 4 screws that are holding it on. Unfortunately, it appears we're missing most of the mechanism here, so I don't think we'll actually be able to make it flip up and down. But we're gonna go ahead and pop this thing off and see if we can get this thing sealed a little better. Unfortunately, I think this is gonna require 2 hands. I don't wanna break that. So it's kind of hard to tell, but a lot of this nasty seal stuff that's actually not part of this right here. You can kind of see this looks like someone's went over all this, especially up in here. And up top here, I got most of it away. There's a seal here. That appears pretty rough. And doing some research, I wasn't able to find one on eBay or anything, so I'm hoping I can kind of caulk all this in here and sandwich it down to seal it without actually, you know, looking atrocious. So I went ahead and I put some silicone down and I popped that glass back on top and screwed it in. Looks like some of it's sticking out a little bit, so I'm gonna let that dry and try to just trim that off the top. Then, fingers crossed, it won't leak anymore. One of the best ways to fix rust in these quarter panels is just to cut them out and fold them up. I believe I watched Bleep and Jeepin' do it the first time. Take off this, well, I bent it up, but it rivets on right here once you take that plastic part off. And then you can see that where like it wasn't painted, there's a line right there. Just try to line that up as much as you can. Because we'll cut it here, and this little piece here will actually try to bend up in, so it'll come out and flatten off. And right here, it looks like they just put a little cut here. That way it separates that off a little bit, and then you fold that back up in too. All right, so there's the first side cut. We fold it up. Right here in this corner, we kind of messed up a little bit, but we'll put a plate right through here and lip up back here, so that'll look a little better. Look at that. Compared to this. All right, we got this side cut, and then this one, obviously it looks a little rough, like right in here, but that'll all be, you know, fixed once we put our plate in here, and then might even try to see about touching this up a little bit, shaving down some edges, whatnot. And then I did the classic XJ guy thing to do, and I taped off the bottom, painted those black at the bottom. I think it looks nice, especially on like something that's been trailed. Usually the bottom of the doors is all scuffed up and everything, but it kind of protects the surface rust. I think it looks a lot better. And then I did the same thing in the quarter where we folded that up, little tape, and yeah, and it really doesn't look too bad. This is actually what I'm really excited to tell you guys about. The headliner was drooping down. It was getting spongy stuff everywhere. So actually what I did, just ripped the headliner off completely. And then for the real surprise here, I actually used a little bit of this Ʀᴇᴠᴠᴇᴅ vinyl and fabric dye, which I've actually used a couple times in carpets and stuff, like in my dad's TJ. Actually works great. Yeah, it really doesn't look too bad. I know what you're thinking, Dylan. Where that dye kind of oversprayed on there, we'll just take a little rag with some acetone, get that cleaned off there. It comes right off with that. But for now, we'll let that dry a little bit. The biggest kicker, I think, for me is these wheels. I have a Samurai that I actually forgot I owned for a while. I really like to put those wheels on there because those are actually a 5x5.5. I have some stock wheels off of an older Jeep I had with decent tires. I think I'm gonna toss those guys on here. We just got our eBay fender flares in the mail. We're gonna have to trim that one We'll see how it looks. Let me pop the rest of these on. All right, chat, we got cheapest wheel spacers money could buy. Get rid of this insane fitment. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a spacer. Yeah, that's a lot better right there. I mean, obviously we're not on all the way, but that's very close to being flush. I mean, stack right on top. That'd be a really bad idea. Get away from me. This sucks. They're not like hub centric. It clicked. That clicked. I'm gonna tell you right now, chat, I should have done probably 3-inch spacers. I mean, it's actually very, very close to being flush. Maybe. All right, guys, that's all for now. Thanks for sticking around. This Jeep's getting ready for sale, and we're ready to work on the next one. We'll see you guys later. Bye.